Ace of Cups, my cup runneth over. You are clearly blessed. Joy and fulfillment are yours for the taking. But don't wait too long, for such moments can be fleeting. Like the mythical cauldron of rebirth and renewal, the Ace of Cups offers love, peace, and healing. The witch on the card might be a village wise woman, or she might be the goddess herself in disguise. There is no way of knowing, but if you are smart, you will accept the cup she offers you. It will almost certainly contain something powerful and amazing, and it will probably be just what you need in that moment. Drink deep while you can, because such gifts are rare and fleeting, and there is no telling when such an opportunity will come along again. Things to consider. The Ace of Cups is a fabulous card, representing a gift from the universe. There is no way to predict the form such a gift will take, but because it is a cup card, it may well involve emotions of the spirit. Keep yourself open to grace and possibility, and when it appears, don't let it slip past, and consider yourself blessed. Two of Cups. It takes two to tango, among other things. Attraction, compatibility, and partnership. A cup shared can be the start of many good things. The Two of Cups is all about connection. That might mean love, whether new and exciting, or forged by the fires of years spent together. It might mean partnership of some other kind. Either way, the connection is deep and important, positive and healthy, and not to be taken lightly. Together, these two people make magic, creating something bigger than either of them alone. They raise their glasses to toast each other because they know that a connection like this is rare and valuable and well worth celebrating. Things to consider. If you asked about love, it is pretty clear that the answer is a resounding yes. Of course, you might have asked, is this relationship worth hanging on to? In which case, the answer is also yes, unless you know in your heart that what you're looking for, this partnership and commitment, unless you know in your heart that what you are looking for, this partnership and commitment, it isn't going to happen in whatever relationship you were asking about. For the most part, though, the Two of Cups is a thoroughly positive card, denoting a relationship, romantic or otherwise, that is based on trust and mutual respect. That's a good thing, no matter what the connection is. Three of Cups. Everything is better when shared with friends. Dance as if no one is watching and raise a cup to joy and friendship. What could be better than coming together in merriment and joy? If you ask these three witches, they would tell you, not much. They may be different ages and from different paths, but they support each other's endeavors and cheer each other on through good and bad. On this day, they may be celebrating the achievement one has made, or simply enjoying the moment. What does it matter? They're together and the moon is overhead, and that is reason enough to dance. Things to consider. The Three of Cups almost always represents a group of women, although there is nothing to say it couldn't stand for any supportive bunch of people. They may be family or friends, but either way, you know you can rely on these particular folks to be there for you. Who do you celebrate with in your life? If you can't answer that question, it may be time to create your own circle of kindred spirits. Hopefully, you are fortunate enough to know who these witches stand for in your life, and you will be sharing in joy with them again soon. Four of Cups. Is that the best I can do? I'm sure something better will come along if I wait long enough. The young sage in the Four of Cups isn't happy with his work. Of course, that's not unusual. Truth be told, he's never really satisfied. His hard-working apprentice tries offering him a different option, but our sage knows it isn't quite right. After all, it isn't perfect, and therefore, it isn't good enough. He'll keep rejecting things. Surely, just the right one will come along sooner or later. If not, our sage would rather have nothing at all. Things to consider. Are you feeling bored and dissatisfied with your life, your job, or your relationships, but you can't quite figure out why or what it is you do want? Maybe it's not them. Maybe it is you. There's nothing wrong with wanting something better or not settling when a situation isn't working for you. But you don't want saying no to become a habit. The Four of Cups is a reminder to make sure that you aren't turning away good options just because you think that something perfect will eventually appear as if by magic. Are your expectations realistic? Is it possible that what you've been waiting for has already been here all along, but you just weren't seeing it with clear eyes? Perhaps it is time to take another look around and see what you've been missing. Five of Cups. Ruined. It's all ruined. Are you so focused on negative stuff that you're missing the good stuff? Let's face it, in life, bad things happen. You make plans, you work hard, everything is all set, and wham, disaster. The car breaks down, your perfect vacation gets rained out. You slip and break your leg 2 days before your wedding. It's easy to get discouraged and lose track of the big picture. Suddenly everything is ruined. But is it? Everything? Really? Or are you just so focused on the bad stuff that you forget about all the good? After all, the car may be broken, but no one got hurt. You still got to spend your vacation with family and play all those fun board games. And maybe you hobbled down the aisle on a pair of crutches, but you've got someone who loves you. Don't let the bumps in life distract you from all the blessings you still have. Things to consider. Glass half full or glass half empty? The Five of Cups reminds you that no matter how many cups you may spill, you still have plenty filled to the brim. Are you focusing all your attention on the negative and crying over spilled milk? Maybe it's time to look around at the things that are working for you and count your blessings. If you don't have milk, you'll just have to drink lemonade. Six of Cups. Here, let me give you this. Sometimes the smallest gesture, made with no expectations of return, can touch the heart in profound ways. An act of kindness is a powerful thing. One small gesture can change a day from bad to good. A series of little gifts given with no expectation of receiving anything in return can snowball into a mountain of joy if people pass them along to others. A good memory held in the heart may give someone strength in the darkest of moments. There is an innocence in a simple act of kindness that is often missing from our lives. The Six of Cups reminds us of the value of giving and receiving, of little moments of joy. Things to consider. You have probably heard the phrase random acts of kindness. These are those small, unexpected gestures that put a smile on someone's face, like allowing an elderly person to take your seat on the bus, or feeding a parking meter so some stranger doesn't get a ticket. Have you been practicing kindness? If not, you might want to try it. Say something nice to everyone you meet for a day, or give an unexpected gift just to show someone you love them. If someone has been kind to you recently, be sure to pass it along. Sometimes the Six of Cups is a reminder to hang on to good memories and not get too jaded or negative in the way you view the world. If there isn't enough kindness in your life, maybe you just need to create some for yourself. Seven of Cups. This one. No, wait. That one. No. Ugh. Sometimes you just have to make a decision. It's better to make a bad choice than no choice at all. The poor witch in the Seven of Cups card is completely stymied. She has to make a decision but just can't make up her mind, not because she has no good choices, but rather because she has too many, all of them good. What's a witch to do? If she picks the cup filled with wisdom, she might miss out on riches or power, but if she chooses hearth and home, she might not be able to go on a great adventure. Every time she thinks she has made up her mind, something else occurs to her, and she is back to being stuck again. The wise old crone behind the counter is being as patient as she can, but she knows what we all learn eventually. Forward movement requires that you pick an option and run with it, even if that means you run the risk of making the wrong choice. Things to consider. Are you facing a multitude of choices? If the Seven of Cups appears in your reading, it probably means two things. One, that there isn't really a bad option, no matter which one you choose. Things are going to turn out fine. And two, it's time to make a decision already. Just pick one and get on with things. You're not getting any younger sitting there trying to make up your mind. Eight of Cups. Sometimes you just have to walk in another direction. Just because you have everything you want doesn't mean you have everything you need. The witch in the Eight of Cups has clearly made a major decision. She has turned her back on what many others would consider a darn good situation and deliberately set off in a new direction. Why on earth would she do that? Is she crazy? Her friends and family may think so, but she knows that no matter how appealing and safe her current life might seem to others, it isn't what her heart needs. She is being called to a new path, and no matter what she has to give up to do so, she is going to follow that call. Things to consider. If you are looking at this card, you may be at a turning point in your life. Are you feeling as though there is something missing, even though your circumstances seem fine on the surface? Are there issues that make an otherwise good situation not as perfect as you thought it would be, or as others think it is from the outside point of view? Have you been trying to ignore a strong call to do something different? Maybe even something that seems like it would be a crazy choice? The Eight of Cups may indicate a dramatic change in relationship or career that used to bring you satisfaction and no longer does. Or simply that it is time for you to acknowledge that it is time to walk away from your old safe life and into something new that holds the potential for future happiness. Nine of Cups. Success at last. Success is wonderful, but don't let it go to your head. The Nine of Cups used to be called the wish card. You would make a wish at the beginning of the reading, and if the Nine of Cups appeared, your wish was sure to be granted. Its presence in a reading is certainly a good sign that you have either achieved what you'd hoped or are well on your way to doing so. But don't get too cocky. After all, life is uncertain, and wishes are tricky things. Yes, you should take time out to celebrate every achievement along the way. And the journey still continues, and you want to keep your eye out for future wishes too. If you've had a wish granted or a dream come true, congratulations. Especially if you have achieved a goal you've been working on hard for a while. Just remember that nobody likes a smug witch. This card can be a sign of good things here and now or waiting in the future. But it can also be a warning that you need to keep your eyes on the prize and maintain your good fortune through hard work and effort. 10 of Cups. The end of the rainbow is right here. Joy is found not in things, but in people. Life overflows with prosperity of the heart. This may be the most joyful card in the deck, but the shared bliss found in the 10 of Cups doesn't just happen by accident. The king and queen worked hard over many years to create this perfect day and a nearly perfect life. Their happiness comes not from money or success, but from having people to share their joy. This card depicts the emotional satisfaction we all long for, filled with optimism and taking nothing for granted. Things to consider. The 10 of Cups is another card with no downside. Its presence in a reading can only be a good thing. It reminds us that the truest gifts in life aren't power or wealth, but rather having true friends and people who love us. You may want to ask yourself if you are putting enough effort into your relationships with others or appreciating them for the joy they bring into your life. If this card lies in a future position, your efforts to connect with others will almost certainly lead to some form of happily ever after. But remember that even bliss takes work to maintain, and no life, no matter how wonderful, is without its tough moments. You just won't have to go through them alone. Page of Cups. Let inspiration flow. Embrace creativity, learn new skills, open up to joy. You're never too old to be young at heart. The Page of Cups is all about youthful enthusiasm for something new, a new craft, a new adventure, a new love. Of course, you don't have to be young in years to have this kind of crazy, carried away feeling. Mind you, sometimes this kind of impetuous appetite for life can get the poor page in trouble, so you might need to be a little patient. Or you could go along for the ride and maybe learn something new. Things to consider. In a reading, the pages often represent young people in our lives, our children or students, for instance. But they can also stand for a certain frame of mind. Are you someone who is constantly running from one new enthusiasm to another? You may be the Page of Cups. If so, you may want to ask yourself if this approach is working for you or not. Have you been stuck in a rut? Then maybe the Page of Cups is just what you need to give you the push in a new direction. Knight of Cups. I follow wherever my heart leads. Passion is a wonderful thing, but be careful not to let your heart completely overrule your head. The Knight of Cups is a romantic soul. You might even say he is a fool for love. He tends to get wrapped up in his own dreams and visions, following them to the exclusion of the practical world. Whatever he is pursuing at the moment, he does it with his whole heart. But tomorrow his heart may turn to something new, and he will be just as passionate about that. The Knight of Cups isn't shallow, far from it. He's just following his bliss. Hopefully it won't lead him off a cliff. Things to consider. If the Knight of Cups shows up in a reading, it may be a clue that you are dealing with someone with good intentions but not a lot of follow through. That man who is wooing you madly, you might want to be a little cautious. Your child, friend, or lover who comes to you with a fabulous can't-fail idea, take a closer look before you get pulled into the fantasy. This doesn't mean you can't jump in and follow the Knight of Cups dream too. Just make sure you don't plan the rest of your life based on it. If this card represents you in a reading, it might be a suggestion that you are too wrapped up in your own hopes and dreams, too emotional to make a rational decision. Perhaps it would be a good time to step back and see if whatever you are so excited about, a lover, an idea, a plan for something grand, really stands up to the bright light of reality. Queen of Cups. Blessed is she who gives with her whole heart. Find those who will nurture you and your endeavors and open yourself to their gifts. The Queen of Cups is the embodiment of heart and passion. She will be there when you need help, advice, or just a warm hug, and she will encourage you in your own passions. The Queen is generous of spirit, intuitive and kind. She can be relied on for guidance, especially when you are too overwhelmed with your own emotions to make sensible decisions. She may be a mother, a patroness, or a friend. Maybe she is even you. Things to consider. Everyone needs a Queen of Cups in their life, and we all have the capacity to be this person for others. If she shows up in your reading, the Queen may already be present. Have you taken advantage of the aid she offers you? You might have to go looking for her, and if you do, it will be worth the effort. Perhaps you take the role of the Queen of Cups for others. If so, you are to be admired and commended. Just be careful not to give so much of yourself that your cup becomes empty and you have nothing left for your own needs. King of Cups. I rule my emotions, they do not rule me. It is good to be in control, but be careful not to separate yourself too much from others. The King of Cups is a generous man. He supports the arts and encourages creative endeavors of all kinds. Less emotional than his queen, he tends to watch the world around him with a benevolent eye, but from a distance. You heard the expression, no man is an island, right? It is just possible that the King of Cups is the exception to that rule. Of course, he owns the island, so maybe that helps. He might even invite you to join him there if you can convince him your cause is worthy. Things to consider. If the King of Cups represents someone else in your reading, he probably stands for someone who is a figure of power in your life, but who keeps a little bit of emotional distance no matter what the relationship. He may be supportive, even loving, but also a little wary of getting involved. He is wise and experienced, after all, and knows that love can be complicated. If the king represents you, this might be a good time to take a closer look at your interactions with others. Are you willing to help out as long as you don't have to get too close? If you are holding your heart a little too safe, perhaps it is time to leave the island and come join the rest of the world.